his last show, he had 2 cancellations. And the network at that time it was all about, make it. You got to make it big. There was something about the era of the 80s. It was the greed era, the beginning of the greed era. And we were all kind of like on the make to be superstars. And the ratings, they were breathing down our neck at the networks going, we've got to get in the top 10 or you're not going to make the show, won't be renewed. And Ted had to make it. And I think that was what was driving him. And they used me to do all these posters, bikini posters. They used me that way. And it was embarrassing. But one day I came to work and Ted threw a magazine at me. I was on the cover. And even my whole face took up the whole cover. It was the World Weekly News, some tabloid. And the title went, Ted Knight is just like my real father. Lydia's a daddy's girl or something.
Right.
And then up in the tiny corner is Princess Di. She's tiny compared to me. And made me look like I'm the superstar. And Ted threw it at me. He goes, I'm the star of the show. And from that moment on, it was like there was a strange thing between us. But the truth is, I would have done anything for him. I would have disappeared into the woodwork. And at the time, I remember Morgan Fairchild was getting a lot of publicity for Flamingo Road with Mark Harmon.
Right.
A show that was in the lower 80s. It never had any ratings at all, but she was above the show because she hired a publicist, and it was her time in life to get, she was the star of the show. So they made her name bigger than the show. So she'd have longevity after the career, after that show ended. Ted, I decided to fade away and never, ever publicize myself, and they actually warned me not to. Like, I didn't want any attention.
Right.
Because I just wanted to get along with everyone. And it wasn't the wisest choice career-wise, but it was the right choice for me at the time. And but I loved Ted, and we did make up at the end. We had a lot of funny, wonderful moments together.
One of the reasons, I guess, that it continues to be on the air, it's just filled with so many talented people.
Yeah.
And there's so many different dynamics working on that show. There's the dynamic between Ted and you guys, you and Jackie, and also the Laurel and Hardy-esque Jim J. Bullock Ted Knight. I mean, nothing's funnier than a frustrated Ted Knight.
I know. He got to have a punching bag of his own. He used to be the punching bag in the Mary Tyler Moore Show, and he needed a moron, his own resident moron, to play with. So Jimmy got to be the moron, and I loved Jim. Oh my God, I had a crush on him. It took me years to figure out he was gay. I was the only person I didn't know.
You weren't the only one. I didn't know either back in 1980. But I didn't know Freddie Mercury was gay either. I just
didn't either.
I had no clue,
Either. I used to go to work, my heart was like pitter-pattering. And I couldn't look at him. I would turn bright red. I was in love with him. It was horrifying. And he would make me laugh so hard. And then I would go on stage and I'd lose my composure. It was fun.
You mentioned you're obviously still friendly with Deborah. Are you still friendly with Jim?
Yeah. Oh, God, yeah. We're really close. We don't get to see each other as often as we want to, but we try. I go to his Pink Flamingo party every Christmas.
Listen, you made friends for life on that show.
We really did, and I love Nancy. We all got together recently to hear Jim sing in a cabaret. It was so cute. He was singing at Vitello's, the Robert Blake murder restaurant, where the murder happened.
Right.
Rest her soul. God bless Bonnie B. Bakley.
Well, at least something positive was happening there that night that you went. But
it's quite a cool place to hang out, actually.
You did so many other shows. I mean, you did a lot of guest appearances.
Yeah.
On the Dukes of Hazzard. In fact, it's one of the fan favorite episodes, a two-parter on the Dukes of Hazzard. Did you know? Now I'm going to be more of
I love this.
A fountain of information. The producers of the Dukes of Hazzard, which I think was Paul Picard, I think was one of the guys, was thinking of spinning your character off into a separate series. You and you had a pet chimp, I believe.
Yes. Oh, I wish they had done that.
Yes, there was talk about that. I think. I mean, this is just speculation, but I think that was intended to be a kind of backdoor pilot.
Why didn't you tell me this a long time ago?
Well, it's according to the unofficial Dukes of Hazzard companion book.
Oh, I need to get a copy of that.
Yeah, they interview everyone involved with the show, and that was that was their intention to kind of spin that off. Maybe BJ and the Bear came along, and that was the end of that idea. But
that was fun. I played this big mafia daughter. Or southern mobster, big shot daughter.
Yeah.
And I tried to kiss. Well, actually, John Schneider and I had a big kissing scene. It was really fun.
And, of course, some of these appearances have wound up on YouTube, so people can see your Love Boat.
David Hasselhoff, the Knight Rider.
Right.
And the A-Team.
And Hunter.
Oh, Hunter.
Which is that, boy, talk about a scene. I can't even believe that was on television.
You can't believe how hard it was to do a love scene. They put masking tape all over my body. They put this weird bodysuit on, literally rigged with tape. And he's 6'7", and I'm standing on an apple cart, like an entire cart, just to be in his eye line. And it was pretty risque, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I saw it on YouTube, and I'm thinking, how is this even on? I don't remember Hunter. I don't remember Hunter getting it on with anybody on the show.
Wow.
Oh, you know what? We're up against a hard break, so we'll be back in just a moment with more of my conversation with Lydia Cornell. Yes, the Too Close for Comfort bumper music as we return to our conversation with Lydia Cornell. You know, I have to ask you about one more show that you did, only because it's the sort of show I'd like to see come back.
Uh-huh.
Although, in actual fact, I'd like to see the flavor of the type of television that was, I sort of drop out of television sometime in the 90s. Mm-hmm. And I just go, these shows just aren't fun anymore.
I agree.
There are some good ones here and there. I know you did Curb Your Enthusiasm recently.
Yeah, it was fun.
That's a fun show. But you did an episode, or maybe it was two, I don't know, of Battle of the Network Stars.
Oh, God.
Now, the reason I ask is I so want this to come back.
Oh, you do?
Because I know that it would be hard now because there are no stars on television. You'd have to, who wants to see Snooki run do the 50-yard dash?
That's funny. Yes.
But
or Teresa.
Right.
Housewives of New Jersey.
But you did a show, and I used to love these shows because what a strange idea.
It is. It's a great idea, though.
The idea of television stars in a decathlon.
Oh, God. Howard Cosell was yelling at me. I was the only one that had a kayak of our team. Mm-hmm. I remember William Shatner, and by the way, I love Shatner. I'll tell you.
Oh, his album's incredible.
Oh, we had a really funny date. We had a date not too long ago, right? But before he got married to his last wife. He's adorable. But during Battle of the Network Stars, Joan Collins and William Shatner, and I think Heather Thomas, they all didn't want a kayak, or Heather might have, but I was stuck doing all these water sports, and I had no idea how to do any of them. And I wasn't at all athletic. And I was a sex symbol, but I wasn't in the mood to be seen in a bikini.
Right.
So it was just really embarrassing and stressful. And I had QT, that fake tanning stuff on. I think when I got out of the pool, it was dripping the color orange all over towels and yellow. And anyway, Howard Cosell is going, "There's Cornell coming. She can't seem to get the boat turned around." And I'm like, oh, if he says that one more time, he just made fun of me the whole time. I was the biggest loser of the whole thing. You know what's funny, though, on that kind of show, and that ran for a couple of years, these specials, there would always be one actor, like, I'll just use him as an example, Lee Horsley. I don't know if he really did. I'm just pulling it out of thin air. Yeah.
But there would always be one actor who was really into it. Very, very competitive.
And with a headband and an 80s hairdo.
Right,
yeah.
Exactly. And giving these big speeches, we're going to do this, And you'd see everybody else like, what am I doing here? Get on the phone with my agent. How the heck? Why am I running a relay, What is going on? But it was a fun show, and I would like to see it coming back. Maybe Larry David could be on Battle of the Network Stars.
Oh God, can you imagine? It would be like the Twit convention at Monty Python, jumping over matchbook sticks or whatever, matchbook covers. Now,
again, I mentioned Curb Your Enthusiasm, and you stopped acting for a while and then came back. Not by choice, exactly. Except I had to have a crash and burn, then a spiritual awakening, and then become a recovering bimbo. No, because all human suffering is caused by Victoria's Secret. That's my actual belief. That should be a T-shirt. Well, it is, and it's going to be. So. Oh, okay. No, I'm actually writing a really funny book about Hollywood. That's It's about all the most humiliating things that ever happened to me, and the dating. But it's funny. It makes fun of me mainly. But Larry David was a blast to work with. Mm-hmm. And the hard thing was, they give you one line, they give you one improv bit, and you're supposed to go in and you have to act out that part, and you have to make up your own lines. It's all improv, which is a great way to get an actor and a writer for free. Right. For like an AFTRA scale job. They all take favored nations. No one gets paid for their writing ability. So it's like getting free writing. So
the only line in there was, Larry comes in to buy a bra. And I was dying to do improv with him.
Mm-hmm.
So I just decided to act like I was in a Victoria's Secret shop. And I started playing around with the hand sizes, going, is she a full handful or half a handful? And all the stuff I came up with, he loved, and then he hired me. It was actually my friend, my old boyfriend, was the director of the show.
Mm-hmm.
And he got me in, but once you're in, you have to prove it to Larry.
Right.
And that's the hard part, performing with Larry, because he performs with everybody in the audition. So the day of the shooting, we're out there at the Victoria's Secret store in Pasadena. I came up with something. I was really in the moment, and that's the secret to acting, is to stay totally present and listen well. And don't think about results in anything in life. You can't succeed if you do that. And I finally learned that after 20 years of writing. But Larry, I suddenly looked at him, and he goes, this fabric feels so soft. And I went, oh, feel free to go try it on. And he goes, what are you, nuts? It's not for me. And he loved that. He loves being made fun of. So that ended up being the most important part that he kept in the act. And we did a whole big, long, hour-long scene. And then he sort of took some of my lines and used them for himself later.
Right.
And then cut out a lot of my stuff and just kept in the essence of it, which was good,
You have such a wonderful voice. Did you ever do any voice acting?
Thank you. I'm going to get back into that. I did Hagar the Horrible with Lainey Kazan and Donnie Most.
Oh, okay.
From Happy Days. One cartoon for Hanna-Barbera, and then I didn't do any more voiceovers. I just didn't pursue it. I did a few commercials 1 year. I only did it for 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
And then my agent folded, and they went to another company. So I've been trying to get ready to go do that again as soon as the book comes out, and I start producing movies now. Thanks for reminding me. I've got to start getting out there and doing that. I've been raising kids. Just went through a big divorce, which turned out to be a blessing in disguise. My husband left me for Gene Simmons. He went on the road with Kiss and decided that the groupie lifestyle was more his.
That is the craziest thing I've ever heard. Wait, he didn't want to be Gene Simmons' groupie.
No, he went on the road with Gene Simmons. Gene Simmons, he went on tour with the band Kiss last year and never came back.
That is the weirdest thing I've ever heard.
I know. It's perfect. We were married for 10 years. We both raised 2 little boys together, his son, my son. It was a perfect Brady Bunch divided by 4.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do math. But I raised his son since the age of 4, and Kevin's now 16 tomorrow. And my son is 17, so it was a great, crazy life for about 10 years together. I'm really happy that it's over. I mean, it was really hard. I was going to stay in the marriage no matter what, because I believe in the vows. But I was trying to become more shallow so I could communicate with my husband, and it was finally working when he left me. No, it was kind of like just one of those things that was meant to be,
Yeah. Well, I have to mention, only because we're going to be running out of time shortly, but I do have to mention that you do have a web show.
Oh, I forgot.
Yeah, you forgot, which I've checked out.
You have?
I've watched it.
Oh my God.
And so that's what at the end of this, I know what song I'm going to play. I'm going to play "Human" by the Killers.
Thank you, Dave.
Because I know that you've played that on your show.
Yeah.
And you have a lot of fun. The only thing is, it seems to be on an intermittent schedule. I can't figure out exactly when you're doing it.
All right, here's the deal. I started that show because of a fan group on Facebook started begging me to go on. And also, I was on a show last year when my marriage was breaking apart where I actually cried publicly and went through the house missing my children and just this huge breakdown. It was really kind of inspiring, I guess, for some people.